we find about integration demonstrations is they can be a bit boring, right? We make a change on one side, like F3M, you'll see that today, F3M for short, as we say it. We do a part bomb release. And then next, of course, is the middleware piece. And Nexus does all this bookkeeping, right? Check to see if the part exists, it doesn't, it creates the part, and so on. I'm not going to go through it all, but the point here is that there's a number of things taking place in the background, and I just want to make sure you all understand that, right? That yes, these demos can be uneventful, but there's a lot going on. And then, from the standpoint of what we are communicating here, is we're excited about the platform because one, there's no code. There's a handful of APIs that we use on the NetSuite side, and these are driven by these so-called templates. We got a whole list of templates today. I won't get into all of them, but in the demo today, we're going to talk about the part bomb release, and we're going to talk about federation. And there's other things we can do. So with that, I'll turn it over to Louis.
You guys see my screen? I do a simple search, basically looking for that, no results. That's all I wanted to show you right now in NetSuite, just starting with it doesn't exist in NetSuite right now is the intent right now. Okay, guys? Now, Jeff is going to take over. He's going to go into the Fusion environment. He's going to release it through an ECO, and then we'll go back to NetSuite and show you the results of the update. Okay, guys? How's that? Okay, Jeff, go ahead.
Yeah, thanks. Hi, this is Jeff here from the vdR group. Happy to be on the call. This is the Fusion environment, and this is the number that Lou just queried for in NetSuite to show you that it did not exist. So this does exist in Fusion. This is the top level assembly, and it happens to have 3 component parts within its BOM structure as displayed here in Fusion. And it's on a CO ready to move along for review and ultimate approval and publish into NetSuite. So I'm going to actually go back into, I'm going to go to the related change and select the change order itself where all these affected items are sitting.
Can you show that, Jeff? Can you show the affected items?
Here are the affected items. Yes.
There you go. Okay, thank you.
Which this flattens the BOM structure, but at the assembly, you can see the BOM structure. So on the approval or workflow steps, we can see it's at create. I'm going to go ahead and move it along to submit to InDesign. And then I'm also going to move it along to in review. Now, this is the state where review and approval process is occurring. If there's any kind of concern or rejection that needs to occur, it can loop back. But we're going to go ahead and move forward to approve final.
Before you go there, go ahead. Okay, so I just want to show you guys the workflow, what we added. Talk to the addition to the workflow, Jeff, that you showed there, the push integration and what happens before you do anything. What we added to the workflow there, the steps after approved. After approved. Okay, so if you look at the workflow, notice that we added 2 additional steps after approved, pushed integration and released, okay? These are automatic steps that are happening that we put into place. So once you approve the workflow, it automatically pushes the information to the integration step. At that point, we have a little branch there. We publish the information to the ERP system. We wait for a response that things were successful. If we get a response that things are successful, then we close the workflow out. If we get a response that we had any issues, and we do try a couple of times to resolve the issue, if we get any response that there's an error on updating on the ERP system, then it goes to the integration issue step automatically. Okay, so there's logic there to make sure that we don't close this workflow until we actually get successful publish to the ERP system. When it goes to integration issue, we have notification to an admin, to a persons that you can put anybody you want there to get notification on the that things were not successfully updated, so somebody can go in and review it, and obviously from there, then they can actually we can put it all the way back to wherever you want Right now, we just put it to approved because this is a demo environment, but you could put it back to InDesign. You could put it back anywhere you want as far as that step goes. But the idea is I just wanted to make sure you guys knew if there are any issues with the published ERP system, we are catching that and preventing the close of the workflow so that things don't get out of sync between Fusion and ERP. Okay, just an FYI. Okay, sorry, Jeff, go ahead.
No, that's great. Thanks for interjecting that. And
Okay.
now that it's in review, I'll go ahead and push it along for approval. Now the workflow is doing its thing, and it's now been approved. So at this point, the change order is approved. I'll go ahead and stop sharing.
All right, guys, so now I go back and I do the same thing. I go back to my NetSuite environment. I'm just waiting for the data to process, and I query and just give it a second. Now you see nothing found yet. So we're just waiting. Now we see something found, okay? So I go in and view the item. It just takes a little while, sorry. Nothing I can do on that. I see the information that was brought over as far as the information goes. If I go to manufacturing, I go down, I see the 3 items that were actually brought over the BOM structure currently, as far as that goes, brought that over as well. Okay. So that's the intent there. So that's our simple demo as far as the publishing of an assembly with its components, the BOM structure into NetSuite as far as that goes. In NetSuite, just an FYI, we're not sure how you have your NetSuite configured, but we support both the standard BOM configuration as well as the advanced BOM configuration. So part of it is when we set this up for you, you let us know which configuration you're working with as far as your BOM configuration goes, and then we should set up the integration to support it. So it's up to you guys how you have your NetSuite configured. We support both of them. Okay, just an FYI.
Just as a just to share with you all, we're seeing a trend toward not only doing part BOM releases like we're seeing here, but also putting out the design artifacts to an enterprise content management system where certainly F3M could support document retrieval, but there's potentially other documents on a project that, everything from contracts to maybe field service manuals or what have you that are associated with a particular product. And so instead of trying to put all that into, say, F3M, which certainly can handle that, but then looking at something like a SharePoint, which could be accessed through Teams and really giving people kind of global enterprise access to content. So all that to say is that I'll just put that on your radar. We're seeing a trend toward also releasing the design artifacts. We do that simultaneously or can do that simultaneously. And in this particular UI, we could have a hyperlink to those documents in that repository. So now people in purchasing, inspection, manufacturing, what have you, could still go to NetSuite, look for something, but then it takes you to a master repository for where the documents are.
Okay, thank you.
Go ahead, Liz.
Okay. All right, the last part of the demo is the idea of the data being from NetSuite being displayed. So we picked cost, purchase price, okay? So currently we have that set up at a component level, guys. Okay, so I'm gonna pick one of the components we just created. I'm gonna edit it. Gonna go to purchase price. Picking a price, it's an expensive item, guys, okay? So, all right. Just to let you know, okay, just to show you, okay. So I put 4327. Jeff, go ahead and show your screen. Okay.
So I'm on item 174 here, the one that
Oh, there you go.
Lou just
Go ahead.
updated in NetSuite. I'm going to go ahead and at the top here in Fusion, the way to get this federated data back or information displayed is the additional actions feature to fetch it from ERP. I'll say OK. And now it's working to pull that information. Now down here in the ERP data section, you can see the ERP cost, which was previously empty, now reflects the number that Lewis just put into NetSuite. And then it's date and time stamped as well as when that information was updated for ERP data.
Yeah, since since the way Fusion works is that's an action that has to be recorded. This record has to be recorded. We added the date stamp so that when people do review this, they're going to be able to see this going forward. We put the date stamp so that when people did go to this component or any item in Fusion, they would see when was the last time the information was retrieved from NetSuite. Does that make sense? For today, it would probably be good for a couple of days, but at any point in time, they can refresh that information is the concept there, guys. So that way, everybody was aware of exactly when this cost information was brought over to Fusion as far as that goes from NetSuite. All right, and then that information can be reported on at that point from within the Fusion environment.
And just to note, it's not limited to that. It's pretty much any of the attributes associated with this
Oh, that's
particular
true.
item.
Yeah.
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 So,
Yeah.
and the point of all the federation is simply that users can be in F3M and not have to step out and go into NetSuite to see that information, right? So it's just an efficiency tool, especially when you're going maybe through a change process and you want to see existing inventory. We even have the option to, if you want, look at not only what's my inventory, but what's on order, right? And combine that so that okay, if I'm going to go ahead and update this particular part, what's the impact? And should I put a stop shipment on an order so that I'm not, taking in something that's not going to be used? So there's a lot of things that you could do with this whole idea of federation.
To, I'll say, manually perform that fetch step. It's not something that just sort of automatically happens in the background.
We can. It's just the way we put it in place at this point. Fusion's pretty dynamic as far as capability, what we can do in the Fusion environment. This was just a way of identifying it for the customer, showing them that the information is being brought over. But more importantly for us was, get out of there, Jeff. More importantly for us was the modified date as of. So the idea being that people understood what that was, because this data is going to be recorded in Fusion instead of in other environments. We have the ability to pull the information, but it never gets put into the actual data record. So we wanted to emphasize this concept of modified as of, letting people know that this is the last time. But yes, it can be automated as well, Curtis. Just depends on how you want to implement. Okay.
So that would be a scheduled fetch, right?
Right. That would be a schedule. Yeah, we would schedule the fetch exactly
Yeah,
what
it could
you're
be.
saying.
Yeah, it could be scheduled. So we have a polling, POLL, polling service that can be applied to all of this, right? So every hour we can go through and look at anything that's changed in the last hour, pull it back, and then automatically drop it into F3M. What we just showed you here is on demand. So you could do it on demand, and then something that the other is Lewis say is you do it on the fly. You don't save it in F3M, but that feature is not available in F3M right now. But that's okay because we have those other two features or options.